Fit for Life Radio is back at you with the squad and a special guest today. So we have Will, Ben, and I, and then our guest is Elizabeth, who is a client of ours. Say
Long
hi,
time.
Elizabeth.
Hey, y'all.
And Elizabeth is, as I'm sure a lot of y'all know, the flu season's been really bad, and her voice is a little roughed up, but we didn't want to put this podcast off any longer, so
Nope.
so we decided
get through it.
to look at it as sultry, maybe this is the R&B edition.
Is that what it is?
Yep. So.
What kind of R&B you're listening to, man?
Yeah, the sultry kind.
He just has like a sultry playlist on his Spotify.
Oh, you know it.
Just a bunch of nice, like deep, soulful R&B.
For some reason, though, Ruben Studdard popped in my head. That's like fake art. That's like American Idol R&B.
That is
right?
American Idol R&B.
We need like Marvin Gaye. There we go.
Yeah, that's true R&B.
All right. So you with us, Elizabeth? You battled through?
I'm battling through.
I think she'll be all right.
All right. So today we just want to focus on Elizabeth and her story because it will benefit a lot of people as far as just the obstacles, the journey, where she's at now, how getting started isn't like this perfect thing. So. Elizabeth, you maybe start off with a little about what you've accomplished and your results, and then we'll kind of dive into everything that it took and all that kind of fun stuff.
I started by Coastal 3 years ago. I was my heaviest when I started, and it's been an amazing journey. And it's when I first started, I was at my heaviest, and I started just to get healthier. Fell in love with Coastal, and when I first started, I just wanted to come work out. Didn't think about much else. Started with a friend, and our goal was just come work out. From the first day we started, I was in love with Coastal. And came in, worked out, didn't think much else about it. Worked out every day, and just that was what we wanted to do. Come work out. Started talking about eating better. The first year, lost about 10 pounds, I think, and putzed around and thought I was doing something with it, and talked to Gary for a little bit about I've only lost 10 pounds. What else do I need to do? And he said, how's your eating? I thought my eating had gotten better, and which it had. I cut out some of the junk food, ate a little bit better. Didn't see the results that I wanted to, but I was working out 4 or 5 days a week, which was a lot better than what I was doing. Got a little bit frustrated with not seeing the results that I wanted to, and we talked about changing the nutrition up a little bit, and so we started looking at the nutrition, changed it up a little bit, but it wasn't until I really buckled down, started working with Ben and Gary, and really changed what I did with eating, that everything started changing, and it was having to really completely change everything I did.
So what did you change exactly? Like what was like one of the first things that you like made the change and then kind of like built on? Because I know it all didn't happen, at once.
No, it was a big struggle with. My thing was I was a calorie hoarder. I didn't want to eat.
Yeah. So you basically saved them all day.
I saved it all day. I didn't eat. Ben would go, "What did you eat today?" I'm like, chicken. How much? Breakfast, lunch, a serving. And Ben's like, well, what do you mean? Like,
How are you alive?
right. And I trained my body to not eat. I wasn't hungry. I had to remind myself to eat. And Eddie would go, what did you eat today? Eggs, hard-boiled eggs. I wasn't hungry. I was under the mentality of if you ate, you would gain weight, and in high school, we didn't eat because if you ate, you gain weight. Listening to you guys, you're like, you've got to eat. I'm like, I'm not eating. Eating means you gain weight, right? What are they talking about? I'm going to gain weight. No way am I doing that. And you would say, you've got to eat. I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not eating. And it was battling if you want muscles, you've got to eat. The muscles burn the fat. I'm like, hell no, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm not doing that shit.
Crazy.
No way.
It is funny, like, I'll interrupt you, like, that's super common, for people to be like, no, I'm not doing that. It doesn't make sense, right? Because for you, like, you went so long, like you say you grew up in high school, you basically are conditioned as, like, if you eat, you gain weight. If you don't eat, you're going to stay small.
Right.
And so, like, when you've had that just beaten into you, basically, then it's very hard to change.
Right.
Because it's, like, everything you've known. So that's difficult for people to do. And, I mean, we kind of, run into that more often than people probably think.
Right. And I mean, it was, years of having to deprogram myself of you've got to eat. And Ben every day, did you eat? Sure, Ben, I ate. Did you really eat? What did you eat? I had some chicken. How much chicken did you eat? A little bit. So every day, it was a little bit more. And talking with them, it was, okay, I ate a little bit more. So it was overcoming that obstacle of it's okay to eat. Eat your lean protein. Eat your veggies. It's okay. And once I got that, what do you know? It worked. The muscles.
Muscles.
What was that?
That is the coolest 3-word summary that I've ever heard.
I mean, you're right, though.
Like what we're trying to accomplish, and like almost break through all these like faux pas that everybody doesn't understand. Muscles burn fat.
Yep. Right.
So you have to get those.
Right.
And that requires food.
Right. And I'm like, oh my God, this works. Holy shit. They're right. It works, And it was what took me so long to listen to them?
Yeah.
And I told them, oh my gosh, you guys were right. What took me 2 years to understand these guys knows what they're talking about. They get paid for this. Why did I not listen? What took me so long?
Yeah.
I'm paying them money and they're telling me, eat your food. Eat your fucking vegetables, Why didn't I listen? And I know you're banging your head going, we're telling her this every day. She's not doing it.
Yep.
And I had to accept that on my own time. And when I did, is when it clicked. It's when it worked. And
that's fair. We were never frustrated with you figuring this out, and definitely as far as like, well, here's the information. This is what you're supposed to do, and then you not necessarily jumping out and doing it. That's no big deal at all, actually. And a lot of people are sitting there with the right information and just not quite ready to make that change. You're not in a bad place. But then when you try and seek out other information or look for ways around it, or well, what about this really complicated thing I read on this one thing
to avoid that really simple thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's when I was like, okay, come on back, Eli. Did you eat some food today? Okay, well, let's start there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, eat your food rather than like, oh, do I need to work out another day, or do I need to add this in, or do I need to cut my calories? What is a supplement going to help? So, yeah, like do the basics.
Right.
Yeah, I remember, Ben and I probably had like 7 different discussions.
We talked about,
but it was just troubleshoot. It was literally just different ways to tell you the same thing. But like that's, as a coach, what we do is, like someone posted in the Facebook group the other day a little meme that was like, about not ever giving up. Like that's the key, and it really is, and that's the way we look at it with everyone. It's just you just try different different approach until it clicks. But like you said, the funny thing is, like, we know it works. And what happens a lot of times is people avoid, that main thing, like Will was saying. So, people will go and look for, like, oh, well, maybe if I take a shot of apple cider vinegar every morning, like, that's what I'm missing, instead of actually, hey, like, you need to eat the right amount of food.
Yep.
And then back to what Ben was saying about, muscle burns fat. That's the whole thing where, people just cardio themselves to death and just think, if I work out so much and burn these calories, that's how I burn fat. But ultimately, you're not going to outdo your diet, and the more muscle you have, your body burns that's your metabolism, your metabolic rate. Your body has to burn a certain amount of calories to maintain your muscle mass. So long term, if you have a little bit more muscle, you burn more calories around the clock without doing anything, right? That's going to always win out over time. That's why it's important to at least maintain muscle. And what happens is when people crash diet, they may lose some weight initially, but they also lose some muscle and then lower their metabolism, and then over time it gets harder. So
then it's harder to lose weight every time you try to do that.
Exactly. And again, when you go back to our last podcast with Carmen, it's literally these two situations are the exact same thing. We had to get Elizabeth to where she was still in a calorie deficit. So it's not about just eating as many calories as possible, but it's getting her to eat enough to be in a small deficit, right?
Exactly.
Which for her was needing to eat more food. Now, some people could be eating too much food and they need to eat less. That doesn't mean they need to eat infinity less. They need to eat the right amount. So, that's what the big picture tip for anyone listening is. You have to just create a small deficit, and you'll literally then at that point just lose weight effortlessly. So,
All right. And I think the other key was once, I wasn't afraid of eating. It's okay to eat as long as you're eating the right foods and the healthy foods that you need to eat. The lean proteins, I cut out I think my key was, meal prepping, cutting out the processed foods, eating my lean proteins, my veggies, and that just all clicked, and the weight started coming off, building the muscles and just staying on track with, tracking my food, eating just the meals, no snacking, being mindful of what I was eating, and being mindful of, why are you eating that? Do you need, or if you're not hungry, don't eat. And that was, I think, the key for me. You don't need to eat. And I remember Gary saying, you're not going to starve. It's okay to be a little bit hungry.
Yeah.
You'll survive. You're not going to die.
I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, that and like the habit of needing to eat.
Right.
It's like for a lot of people, you just kind of condition yourself like any habit. Like anytime I do X, I eat Y, right? So anytime I get home from work, I have a glass of wine or whatever it may be. It can be anything. Insert activity and food that you probably don't need to be eating, and that it just almost becomes like an unconscious thing you do. But then back to like you're not going to starve. Like that's something people really need to remember, especially when you're trying to lose weight. Like you're going to be hungry.
Right.
Like you're a little bit under what your body needs to actually stay where it's at. Right. And so it's going to want food to stay there. Your body it always wants homeostasis. And when you're fighting against that, like it's going to tell you. And so just remembering that, like, as long as you're not like in a blood sugar crash or, like your cognition is like severely affected, then you're good. Being hungry is fine. Like I don't know if all of us do it, but I know like myself, like I usually don't eat until like noon. I survive every day, going from 8 p.m. to noon, and I'm perfectly happy. And like it's possible. So it's just reminding yourself of these things. Like I'm gonna be all right. I don't need this. Why do I want to eat a snack? Which is like great. That's a great question. Like it's cool that you can ask yourself, why do I want this, or why do I feel like I need this, and then make the decision to not have it.
Right.
Which is very hard to have that awareness for people, and so but it's a necessary thing to have.
And then you can break that down even more, and we'll have Elizabeth comment on it. Earlier you mentioned how when you were barely eating, so you were probably getting less than like 500 calories a day, you were not hungry. that shows how much the psychological part overrides, and most people cannot judge their hunger cues correctly because their psychology is so messed up. Like, you can convince yourself you aren't hungry, and it's super stressful on your body because you were barely eating. That's why you weren't losing weight and getting leaner. So then now you mention, we got you eating more and eating enough, and then you started noticing when you were hungry, when you were a little hungry, when you were just snacking. And that means like you're in a good place because now you're noticing, I'm tolerably hungry, or I'm starving, or I'm just hungry because I want a snack. So that that's a healthy place to be. But like as you learned, you had to kind of rid yourself of the psychological, stuff you had going on from apparently back to when you were in school, So. And really, for most people nowadays, it goes back to when you were a kid. Because think about it, a lot of times, what do parents do to get their kid to shut up? Oh, if you're quiet, I'll give you a treat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right from 5 years old, we start associating food as a reward.
Yep.
Right? So then what happens when you're an adult? Oh, I made it through the workday. I deserve this treat, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, there's all that stuff we have to break. And that's why I'm so proud of you, because it's been fun to see, because you give us a lot of feedback now, and like we get to see the journey of you kind of literally overcome a lot of the psychological stuff that all of us have with food,
It's and I think the mental aspect of going through this is the biggest challenge for me. Every day it's a mental challenge for me. And it's such a roller coaster of being a part of this journey. It's the hardest part for me. You go through so many challenges, through so many changes, and the mental aspect of just the changes that you go through. It's a struggle daily of the changes. You don't realize the physical part is, it's awesome, it's wonderful. But the mental part of the changes that you don't realize that it takes on you. And Ben, poor Ben, I don't know how he deals with me every day. I don't think he probably, every day he's probably like, oh God, what is she going to do today? He doesn't go bolting out that door at 4:30 in the morning.
You're lucky it's just too early.
He's like, I don't know.
He's just stuck with you.
Really, my legs don't work.
He's probably like, what is she gonna do today?
No.
It's a very emotional roller coaster because I think the hormones itself, with working out, with the food, with everything, it changes from day to day, and I think I don't know how to handle the changes yet. So just, we've talked with, in losing the weight, you lose the strength. So just a struggle with, one day I can't lift something that I could lift 2 weeks ago. So dealing with that, and then seeing someone that is new being able to lift what you normally could lift, and you can't lift that anymore, and being okay with that. That's a struggle.
Yeah, that's hard.
And really, you just have to. It's just a mindset shift, right? Like
right.
When you understand, a lot of lifting weights and stuff is leverage and body weight. You just, the best way to do it is look at it. Say you can lift 200 pounds and you weigh 200 pounds. That means you can lift 1 times your body weight. So if you look at strength like that instead of the actual number, then say someone is 150 pounds and they can lift 200 pounds. That's like 1 1/4 times your body weight. So technically, the 150-pound person's stronger.
Right.
So when and this is why I don't like absolute strength stuff, because most of us have body composition goals, right? So it doesn't take into account that. Right, but really, we should all strive for strength numbers based off of our body weight.
Right.
So for example, even if you take the same person, like how much did you weigh when you started?
1 174, I think.
And how much do you weigh now?
123.
Yeah, so that's 50 pounds. So so if the 174 pound of you, if your goal was just to get as strong as possible and stay 174, and you would just get stronger, but then say if you then lost 50 pounds and you could lift a little less, but if you do the math, you'd actually find you're still actually pound for pound stronger.
Your trap bar deadlift, if you're 174, you hit 175 trap. Okay, so that's one times your body weight. But if you do the same now, it's 1.5. I mean, really close to 1.5 times your body weight, which is a substantial strength
difference. Yep. So you just have to look at it like that, like you're a fighter. Like there's a 130 pound fighter. They're not in the same weight class as a 200 pound fighter. Like they don't even fight because it's not fair. So. Right. That's the way you have to look at it, and it's literally as simple as that, So, yeah.
Your journey here has been inspiring. I did want to hit on the when we're there at 4:30 and we're all trying to figure out what we're doing. Like
wake up.
And I'm still in bed.
Yeah, we're just like, what is going on? No, I mean, I've seen enough people now in this race, in this journey. If you want to look at it as a race, I guess I don't like it because it has a finish line where maybe this really doesn't. But some people finish the race really fast and they get everything we say and they jump right in it, and maybe they're genetically already predisposed. They already kind of had it in them, and they finish the race really fast. That's cool. There's some people who, they start the race, they run into literally every single roadblock that we've gone through over the last 2.5 years. 3 years, where people have fallen off and said, you know what, I'm not going to run this anymore. It takes a very, very different type of person to run that race at the pace that you did, pick up at the last little bit, and just finish it in a dead sprint. I mean, that's kind of how I look at your journey. And so, I mean, well, maybe it does look from the outside like, oh, look at all these ups and downs. Look at all these. No, it's really like, why aren't you quitting? So many people have been in your shoes and have quit here, and all of a sudden you just kind of like you said at the beginning, you just decided to do the thing when you were ready, and I mean you're a different person now because of it. That's the best. That's the best story. I don't need to see people who are just born for it and they just run the race real quick and great job. No, it's the people who literally had to fight for it. They had to kind of go against the odds, against the flow of life a little bit to make their way. And that's your journey. That's your story.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's most people, like most people aren't going to have the high level athlete background where they did a sport for 12 years and then gained weight over 8 years and then got back into fitness and everything came easy, that's the minority, but that is some people. So then people see that and that's not how it went for them and they get down and frustrated. So,
And then not realizing that whether it takes you 6 months or 12 months, you're not going to look back in 15 years and be like, man, I wish it would have happened 6 months sooner. Yeah. It's not going to even matter in the grand scheme of things. And just looking at it on a macro scale of it's 1 year of my life is what it took to establish really great habits and make some lasting change, or 2 years or whatever it may be. And that's a big deal. And it's only, 2 years for the rest of your life that you can, now maintain this and keep improving in little ways. So, just keeping that in mind. I know we all want now, and to be, immediately really lean and strong and be a different person. And it just takes time. And it takes different amounts of time for everybody, period. No matter what, everybody's different. Everyone has different emotional stuff going on, different, experiences that may have influenced how they feel and think about dieting and losing weight and eating food and all that kind of stuff. So, just realizing it's not immediate and it's not linear. There's always going to be just ups, downs, all arounds, steps back, steps forward. And that's part of it. And it's being okay with all of the above is what's going to get you out the other side.
And it's just not a change in the gym for me. This has changed my whole outlook on how I do things all around me, in my personal life and, in everything I do. I do things now that I never would have dreamed about doing. It just changes my whole mindset on everything I do. I was talking to Ben the other day. There's things that I do now that I would have never dreamed about, even thinking about doing. And it stems from starting in here and just challenges that I would have never thought about. 6 months ago, if Ben said, "Hey, why don't you try that?" I would have looked at him like, "You've lost your damn mind. I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm doing that." But now I'm like, okay, I'll try it.
You walk in on a Thursday with a new plan.
Right.
I mean, it was something like, wait, you're going to try that today? All right, let's see. And then by the end of the class, you got it. I mean, I've seen it enough times now, never to doubt.
I mean, it's, and I don't know where it comes from, honestly.
It's been brewing. It's been brewing.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it must be. Because, I mean, yeah, you've been fighting, and now it's like, well, wait a minute. Apparently, I can do what I set my mind to, so why not?
Right.
Well, and to get, it's that growth mindset that you've developed, Like, it's literally like you've learned to embrace challenges and that you can achieve things, that they're going to be hard, but, yeah, you take that and carry it over into every other aspect.
It's Gary, you've created, a community that is amazing.
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's 1 scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out. If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late, so having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's 1 scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
And I can't imagine my life without Coast and without all you guys, because, like I said, this has just changed everything I do. It's changed my life, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's what fitness did for me. You know, like that's why I'm motivated to do it. Like I remember I got suspended from college, didn't know what I was gonna do. I was always shy, and you know, you always like doubt yourself and internal struggles. And you know, when I started working out, got results, I was like, oh, if I, you know, you see how if you stick to a plan and execute it, you know, you get, you know, X outcome, and then you kind of start carrying that over, like you're experiencing, like to your personal life and other things, and it just kind of snowballs, you know.
Yep. Let's pause. Well, not pause, but so what kind of things have you maybe done in the past? We'll say maybe like 6 months that you never thought you'd be able to do. Like, where are you noticing change? You know, maybe in the gym or things you've done outside the gym that really you're like, damn, I just did that.
Well, inside the gym, I never thought I could get one freaking chin up. Now, the other day we did five chin ups. And I remember, you know, trying to get one and working with Ben, and I'm like, Ben, I'm never gonna get one chin up, ever. And you know, we got
it was a few weeks ago. And then we're like, oh, all right, 4, okay, get ready, buckle up for another long journey. And then, really, it was just a few weeks later, let's try 5 instead of 3. It was awesome.
You know, and I remember, you know, and it came up on my Facebook, actually, of 2 years ago, doing those stupid box jumps on the hard boxes. Which I think every new person coming in should have to do on the wooden box.
Trial by fire.
I still have
Yep.
right.
Yep.
I still have a mark.
Get
Everyone should
battle
have to do
scar.
it right. I remember going to the elementary school and doing it on the bench because I said I'm not going to do it in here and bust my ass and embarrass myself. I'm going to practice at home where I can bust my ass by myself. And and it came up on Facebook that I did it on the small box. And here it is, you know, jumping 32. Never in my life would I think.
It's crazy, especially
you know,
like, with how tall you are.
right.
That's
If you
insane.
knew proportion to 32 inches on Eli, you would be very impressed.
She's 32 inches tall.
You know, and things like that blows my mind. And you know, I remember Alan with, I think it was the 30, that he's like, oh, here, sit on the bench, just do it. I'm like, Alan, I can't do it. He goes, just do it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it. You know,
And
6 months ago, I wouldn't just do it. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. But now it's just like, do it. Okay, I'll do it.
Alan could be a coach.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
that's all you got to do. Like when someone doesn't think they can do something, like you just need to do it. And that's how a lot of this stuff like this happens. Is like someone's
Army
like,
of them.
I don't know if I can do it, and you just like do it. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just go. And like people can do it. It's crazy.
And Elizabeth, playing off of that, you know how, you know, earlier you talked about how you get sad maybe because someone's lifting more weight than you, right? But we're so easy to be hard on ourselves and never celebrate things. Now, how do you think those people feel when they see you jumping higher and doing 5 chin-ups? You know,
Right.
like remember, like because you're so lean now and leaner, you can do certain things you couldn't do before. So you know, it's make sure you celebrate those victories and be proud of what you can do, and don't dwell on, you know, things that you can't do, because none of us, you know, only The Rock can be The Rock, you know.
Yep.
Like
Right.
not all of us can be everything to everyone, and do, you know, so it's trade-offs. So you know, spend most of your time proud of everything that you're doing, you know.
Right.
Especially if you find yourself thinking negative, you know, just be like, wait a second, you know, I can't lift however much weight, but I can do 5 chin-ups, you know. So
Yeah, it's celebrating. Celebrate what you can do and what you like used to not be able to do that you can. Like that's freaking huge. And how like this is another thing. Like how many females can bang out 5 chin-ups in the world? Like there aren't that many. I mean, there's
less
plenty
than
of dudes that
1%.
can't do chin-ups, you know. So like that's insane. I mean, being able to do 1, awesome, freaking crazy. Now you can do 5. That's even more crazy, you know. So like stuff like that is just, you know, just take a step back, look at it from just an outside perspective at how like it's impressive.
shoot, how many people can do a chin up in the world over the age of 25? You know?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you're not high school or college. It's even crazier. I mean, we can even get down to the nitty gritty and say how many people can do a proper push up. You know, and that's even crazier.
You know, I look back of when I first started, and I remember seeing, you know, looking at Bree and Lindsay, because when I first started, I remember doing the orientation and watching them going, holy crap, they are beasts. And I remember doing ladders and doing the, you know, deck of cards. And, you know, here I was 40, 45, 43, whatever I was, trying to keep up with them. They were kicking my ass. And I'm going, how am I supposed to keep up with, you know, these young girls? And comparing myself to, you know, them. They were so healthy, you know, so fit. And I think now looking back, I'm okay. You know, I can keep up with these, you know, these people. I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
I've come a long ways, you know, and it's a good feeling to know that I've done pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, with
absolutely. No, it's cool. It's good. Like, you have a good mindset about it, and I think there's always that struggle of like, you know, I want to do more. I'm not there yet, which I don't know where the fuck there is for everybody. Because there is no there. It's this mystical place that nobody will ever get to.
The Rock.
Maybe
The
Rock is he's there. But if you ask The Rock, he's probably not there. But like everybody kind of has that, and they forget to celebrate because they're like, oh, I'm not quite where I want to be, you know. And like you're allowed to be not completely satisfied. I don't know if satisfied is even the word. Like you can want more and want to be better and still be like completely proud of everything that you've done. You know, they're not mutually exclusive, and I think some people feel like they are, and it's either, you know, I'm where I need to be or I'm not where I need to be, and that's it. There's no in between of being proud and still wanting to do more. So, you know, maybe a lot of people just taking a look and, you know, am I that person that's just, you know, never going to be satisfied?
Yep. And Elizabeth, let me know if you agree with this, because I want to stress this to the listeners. So, you know, all things considered, and, you know, obviously there's tons of mental and physical benefits. You start exercising, moving more. But then ultimately when it comes down to, like, man, like, I mean, because if people, I wish they, like, knew you in person and could, you know, everyone did and could see you before and see you now, and, like, just, you know, just a complete transformation physically as well as mentally. And would you say the one single most important factor of all that was just addressing the food and the nutrition? Like, ultimately when it comes down to it, like, to get that body change, you have to do the food.
You have to do the food. That was key for me, you know. And you know, I see people now and they go, "Oh my gosh, you look so good. You know, what did you do? Are you working out? You know, is that what you did?" And I go, "Oh yeah, I work out." They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym." And I go, "But that wasn't what did it. You know, you have to change how you eat." They go, "Oh, well, I'm out." And I go, "What do you mean?" They go, "Oh, I can go to work out, but I'm not going to change how I eat." And I go, "Well, you have to change what you eat because, you know, working out for me, the first year, I dropped 10 pounds, but it's changing how I ate, what I ate, and how I handle what I ate is what did it." Yeah, working out is great, and that's a big part of it because it does make you healthier. But
that's the easy part.
That's the easy part, right?
It really is.
That was easy. I fell in love with it, and that's, you know, helped. But the nutrition is it's hard. It's key. That is the mindset of what has to change. Nutrition is the key of the lifestyle change, and you have to embrace that. And it's not. People go, "Oh, what kind of diet do you want?" I said, "It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
You have to change."
It's bringing awareness, right?
Yes,
To every moment.
Everything you do. And I think we were talking one time, and it's sacrifices that you have to make. And you either embrace that and you live with it. And to me, it's not really a sacrifice anymore. This is my life. This is what I do day in and day out. And I love it. So it's not a sacrifice to me. And people go, I can't believe that this is what you want to do. Well, it is, because this is what I love.
Yep.
I love the me that I am now. And I love myself enough to make these changes for the rest of my life. This is what I want to do. To be healthy, to be happy. You make the changes and you live by it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you next. I was going to ask you, how when people have that mindset, like, oh, I'm out, I can't change my nutrition. But it's funny, obviously, when you thinking back to when you had that mindset, what do you actually miss from then, right? It's not like you can't not have pizza now, or anything's off limits. Like, it's that you choose to have it when you want it, and just be aware of it, and you have there's a different balance, right?
Right. I was telling Ben, I said, with the holidays, you go to, eat with family, and they eat so different that by the time that Christmas was done, I was overeating, just not normal, that I could not wait to go back to meal prepping, to eating what I was, I was done. I didn't want to eat the other stuff anymore. I wanted to go back to meal prepping, to my regular routine of my chicken, my ground beef, my fish. I was done.
And it's funny, like in our last trip to Austin, I think every single one of us, like, we loved it. We ate great food. We had a good time. We drank, whatever. I think all three of us could not wait to get home and eat some beef and rice and some freaking broccoli and just eat our normal, you could put it quote unquote plain food. But I could not wait for my routine and the normal stuff that I eat that I love so much. Like, I truly enjoy all of the basic food. And I know, like, really everyone, on this podcast right now does. And it's just funny how things change from, like, maybe you just ate out, 5 times a week and that was normal, to when you eat, a few times across the holidays, like, not so good food or whatever it may be. And you just are ready for that normal food to come back.
And no one's really ignoring taste when we're saying, like, oh yeah, we want to go back to our plain food, but all of a sudden something else becomes like a priority, or maybe, more important, probably, but the way you feel on that fuel becomes so prevalent in our minds and so, like, important that, you really do want that plain old chicken breast, because that when you go to bed, you wake up after you've had that as your dinner, you're going to feel really good. Yep. You're not going to feel like you don't want to go to the gym, or you're not going to feel like, oh, why am I so sluggish this morning, or my blood sugar is so low, or all these things that we attribute to maybe, oh, I just slept funny in my bed or whatever. No, really, like, it's how you're fueling your body, and those intangibles, we start to become in tune with them. If you can make a habit of eating good food, it's not like look at how healthy we are, like, we're so excited for our healthy foods. It literally makes us feel better. Yep. Goes beyond that quick taste thing. Yeah. And something deeper.
Like, you don't want your food to, like, taste like dirt, of course.
No, of course, yeah.
I mean, if that's what it took, like, maybe you make a sacrifice. But anyways, like,
it's up to you,
But, like, it doesn't have to taste like pizza and donuts every time you eat food. Like, it's fuel for your body, and a bonus is that, hey, I kind of enjoy this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, and that's why it takes time for people to find things they like, but just, find something you can do that you don't mind eating for your meals, and just stick with it. It doesn't have, and don't eat stuff that you hate either.
True.
If you hate eggs, there's plenty of other stuff you can eat out there. You don't got to stomach those eggs. Like, there's no reason to do it. But yeah, it's just knowing that you feel good. Yeah, Ben pretty much summed it up really well.
Yep, Ben nailed it. I mean, most people are just out of tune with what it actually feels like to have energy and vibrancy and vigor,
And if anybody is in tune with that, it's Ben.
I mean,
the most intuitive eater I've ever met my entire life, and I'm jealous that he is so in tune with the way he eats, and how he feels, because of food and stuff, and because that's always been a struggle for me. And I think I've talked about it multiple times on the podcast about how long it took me to even know what hungry and satisfied actually were and stuff like that. And here's Ben, who just freaking has done it his whole life, and he just knows, like, all right, I'm done. It's time to pack this up and save it for tomorrow. So, it's crazy.
And go on a little tangent, but so with that, and having been stay with me some, and so you see someone around the clock, like the way he does it is amazing. And I've tried it, and I can't do it at that level. So
none of us can, man.
And a lot of it's understanding. Like that's where you have to find what works for you. Like I need a bit more structure. Yeah, I do well, knowing the amounts and measuring a little, and then sticking to that. So that's where people have to understand that everyone's a little different, right? And it's finding what works best for you.
Yes.
True. And that's just a key thing. So. But the thing everyone has in common is you're finding the right amount of food for you, and you're aware of it. Like you're having some kind of conscious thoughts about what you're putting into your body, and whether for you that's 100% intuitive, or it's using portion guidelines, or it's tracking or logging or journaling or taking pictures of your food. You have to take control of your food intake,
Yep. Stop lying to yourself. Yep. Like, this is how it makes me feel. I think it was this. No, like understand what you ate and how it made you feel, and tell the truth.
Yep.
Look at yourself and tell the truth, and I guarantee you won't be able to ignore those results. And you'll have to make a choice. Like, this is what I want, or this is
But it's the awareness too. Like, if you're just not aware of your body and yourself and how you feel, you're not going to pick up on any of that. And sometimes it takes like. Realizing that, hey, I had like a whole pizza and a pitcher of beer last night, and I woke up and basically felt like hungover from food and calories, and realizing that, that's what caused me to feel like I get hit by a truck when I woke up.
Yep.
And some people will just it's just normal, and so they don't realize it. Like, it's just what happens every day, and so I just feel crappy when I wake up. Maybe I got a bad night of sleep or whatever it may be.
Right.
Well, no, like you just ate, dumpster food, and then you're expecting to feel good. So
Elizabeth, do you think part of like the time taken is to get enough trust to feel like you can tell your coaches the truth?
I think it's being honest with yourself is what for me, that I was in denial of what I needed to do. So I had to be honest with myself, and like I told some of the girls, I had to slap myself in the face and go, get with the program. Stop lying to yourself, and I'm paying money for this. Get with the program, get your shit straight, and get it together. If you really want to lose the weight, stop messing around, get it together, and that's when. If you really want to do this, get your shit together.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Get your life together. Get your shit together. What do you want to do? And that's when, I really sat. I had to basically stop lying to myself, stop cheating myself. Once I stopped cheating myself, I got a plan together and had to be honest. And once that happened, and I think you do have to be honest with your coaches, like telling you, but I only ate a little bit today. I ate a little bit more today. And then we start working on our proteins. It's just, you have to be brutally honest with yourself, with your coaches, or you're not going to make it. You're going to just sit in a puddle of crap.
Yeah.
And you're not going to go anywhere. And once you are honest, it's when you're going to see results.
Yep.
Tip of the day: say that out loud. Say it out loud to yourself when you do figure out the truth, or you're battling with it and your stuff's floating around in your mind. There's a lot of things happening really quick. Like you don't have to go in front of the mirror. You can even tell somebody. Say it out loud. Yeah. Say the truth out loud. You can't ignore that anymore. No. It's out there. Order's been established, and you have to deal with the truth that's out there in the open. That would be that's tip of the day for sure.
And it's it's about accountability. If you're not accountable for yourself, it's not going to happen.
Yep.
It's you got to get it done, and until you're ready to face it, it's not going to happen.
Yep. And then really it's like, if you can't be honest with yourself, then you can't be honest with anybody else.
Right.
And that transfers over like to a coach or whoever.
Yeah.
And so, if you're, I say hiding, if you're just like not telling your coach something or whatever, you're like, oh, I'm frustrated, but you don't tell us that you're drinking, 2 12-ounce Cokes a day on top of whatever else. Because you can't, come to terms with it yourself that that's a problem, then like you're just not going to tell anybody. And that's, and that may be what happens. And so just, face yourself first and kind of, say, like Ben said, say it out loud, like that it's a problem or it's not going to change.
Right. My one of my struggles was sweet tea. I love my sweet tea. And I would tell Ben and Gary, I love sweet tea. And they was like, cut the sweet tea. Okay, I'll cut the sweet tea. It took me months, years. I'm not going to say months, years. Let's cut the sweet tea. Ben would say, did you have sweet tea? Maybe a little bit. Cut the damn sweet tea. Yep. Once I cut the sweet tea, I had to be honest and finally cut the sweet tea. But it was, did you have any sweet tea? Well,
I don't know.
Maybe. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Not this morning?
Not this morning.
Not since I woke up.
When are you referring to? So it was when, cut the sweet tea. Okay, I'll cut the sweet tea. It's like, some people, will say, okay, what are you doing? Can you help me? How'd you lose all this weight? You tell them, cut the snacks, cut this or that. They make excuses as to why they can't cut the snacks.
No, I just
don't ask me.
I just gotta have my
Don't
insert whatever it may be. Yeah.
I've already told you what I did. I cut the snacks. I cut the sweets. Well, I can't. I need it for this and that. Don't ask me.
Figure that out first.
Right. I've told you what I did. I've told you what to do. Don't make the excuses if you're not ready to accept it.
Elizabeth is tough.
I know.
Do you ever catch
it's
yourself?
Like a virtual slap in the face to everybody, like, wake up. I love it.
Do you ever think, man, this is what my coaches might go through?
I do.
That's why she's so good at it.
Exactly. Lori and Kim and Christy, we have a thread. And they'll go, okay, don't tell Elizabeth, she's going to get mad. And I go, I'm not mad. I'm just being honest. Put down the damn chocolate. Don't eat it.
Yeah.
Get it out of the house. Gary tells us all the time, don't have it in the house if you don't want it.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it's in the house, you're going to eat it.
That's it. And like you mentioned, you love sweet tea. I think it's important for people to know, like, that's okay. It's okay to love sweet tea, right?
Yeah.
But, for your goals, it's just you can't have it all the time, so you need to make ways to keep it out. But I promise you this, say you're on vacation with your husband in Nag's Head and you make a pitcher of sweet tea, I bet it tastes delicious, right? And you enjoy every second of it.
Right.
So it's just, you can still have those moments. I love chocolate milk. I could drink chocolate milk all day long, but it doesn't align with what I want to do. So I don't keep chocolate milk in my house, or I would drink it all day. So like you just mentioned, like that, I know for me and a lot of clients is the easiest way to fix a lot of this is like, don't try to out willpower it. Just set up your environment to help you succeed,
Because that willpower is not there on the days where you're stressed or whatever, or you haven't slept, and you're kind of setting yourself up to slip. Because everybody's stressed. Everybody has a bad day. Everyone has a long day or maybe didn't sleep or whatever. But if it's not there, then you are so much less likely to grab it as your immediate, I need to feel good. So, just keep it out of the house and then go and enjoy something when you go out with somebody or have an experience. And that's a better thing to tie stuff like that to rather than just at home eating chocolate cake by yourself.
Right.
So.
And you're not a failure or a bad person for wanting those things. Like, that's normal. Like, the way our brains are wired and those foods are made.
I'd love a lot of things right now as I'm getting hungry.
What's worked for me is I know my downfall, so I just avoid it. I don't have it around, then it doesn't tempt me. And that's worked for me. If I know I want sweet tea, I avoid it. That way, I'm not tempted by it. I just don't fall into that pitfall again. And that's the system that works for me. I don't have it around. It's almost like, like a drug addict. You want crack. don't have the crack around. And accountability, that's a big thing for me. It works. And guilt, I'm a big guilt person. It works. That's, I know that, if I can be guilted into something, that's what will get me. That, yeah.
So that makes sense because she calls people out on Sundays.
Yes.
To make sure they prep their meals, which I think is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But that's that little bit of guilt thing carrying over.
Catholic guilt.
But you know what? Like, that's a good accountability thing. I think that's the coolest thing ever when you, like, she'll post up, like, all right, time to prep meals, and tags, like, 25 people in it. Like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And
I think
makes me happy to see.
And I think it's less about tying the guilt to like the food, and I think what Elizabeth does really well is more to the social support and other people, and you're right,
Yes.
like
Right.
Exactly.
like guilt to letting someone down for what you said you would
Right.
do. You know, I think that's an important thing to kind of differentiate. It's not like guilt over eating the specific food, but now with the environment and how you are at rallying the troops. Like I love that it's kind of like that guilt associated with the team,
Right. It's all about the support, If I didn't have the support of, my friends and family, I think I would be devastated. You can't do this without the support of the people around you.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the biggest things with Coastal. There's anywhere you look, there's support. Whether you're feeling, sad that you ate 10 donuts, you come in here, you're going to have the support of everyone around you. In anything that you do around here, there's support. And I think, with the lifestyle changes that we chose in here, the support is what you need.
Yep. I couldn't stop at 10 donuts. I would have to eat, 12.
You go 12.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
I know
what
who doesn't.
see. That's where like Ben and I are different. Ben could get full at 6 donuts and stop, and I would feel
6
obligated.
6 and a quarter. Yeah, that's what's up. 1
1
bite of that 7th might be okay.
Yep.
Even worse.
No shame.
But I'd be like, no, there's a dozen. I have to eat them all.
Me
So,
too, and that's why we actually haven't gotten donuts in a while, I can't remember if we ended up not getting them. Dude, I'll eat all of them. Whitney will have one, or like half of like 3 of them, or something weird, and I'll just polish them all off because there's 12 and I gotta eat them.
There we go. Well,
Yes.
this has been awesome, Elizabeth.
Yeah, that was 55 minutes.
Inspiring.
That flew by somehow. So yeah, that was rad. Good time.
So do you guys got anything you want to wrap it up with?
Nah, I mean, really a good summary of that is make sure you're eating enough food, lift some weights,
You can't rush it.
and you can't rush
You
it.
really can't rush it. It's got to be right. You got to discover things kind of on your own. The information's all out there. It's not like there's no
and it's never gonna change. It's
Nope.
all pretty much
it is
set in stone.
So once that information actually settles in to like who you are as a person, and you can balance that out. I mean, that's what I saw. That's what just working with you. It's the same stuff, and you're beating yourself up over this or doing it, and just when it was right and you settled in, it just all of a sudden this huge endeavor became effortless, and you rode it to victory. It's just awesome.
Trust the process,
trust
the process.
Yeah.
Trust your body. You guys told me that over and over. It took me a long time to understand that. I remember, Gary saying, you know your body. Trust your body. Your body is going to tell you what it needs. Let it guide you. Trust in it. It will tell you everything it needs. It knows you. Let it guide you. It took me a long time to understand that.
Was it worth the wait?
It was worth every
That's
second.
it.
Good.
That's it.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Listen to the coaches. They really do know what they're talking about. If I had listened to them, 2 years ago. But, you're going to learn at your own pace.
Yes. And that's okay.
And it's a learning process. But trust the system, trust the process. It won't let you down. maybe don't take as long as it took me.
I
You know what?
I don't mind that at all.
I don't mind either.
It took Eli time. It took exactly how long it would take Eli.
It's not even that long of a time. You know what?
Yeah.
2, 3,
Really isn't,
3
yeah.
years. You realize most people never get to where you are, which means it takes them decades. You know, like in a sense. So it's not even. That's the crazy thing. It's not even that long of a time. You know.
Yeah.
So you should be proud.
It's been an amazing journey.
Yep.
Man,
Still
we're gonna
rolling.
need, between the last podcast with Carmen and this one, we're gonna. It's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
We're gonna have to get Dwayne on or something.
Yeah. Balance it out a little bit. We do have Herb coming on, so maybe that'll balance it out a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone appreciates it.
Oh,
More valuable information than our sad jokes.
Just
Yeah,
us
than us just trying to make bad jokes.
reaching.
You know what though? I like telling bad jokes, so it's fine.
I mean, we like us. That's all that's important.
Yeah.
right?
We like
Yeah. I don't care about the listeners. Whatever. You guys can take it or leave it.
you probably shut it off anyway. That's good.
All right. Well, until next week, signing off.
We out.
Goodbye.
Later.